You all want to see how easy it is to take back y'all's freedoms? It's easy. No problems here. Getting my protein shake. And I have a water. And I'm gonna get a little snacky snack. Y'all have a good day.
What's going on, America? This is Oliver Mack, the right-winged angel, and I have another very special guest today. I have Pete Gomez. What's going on, man?
What's up, Oliver? How you doing, boss?
Doing great, trying to survive in this crazy world. You know how it is.
That is how it is, man.
All right, man. So before we get started and get into some of these very important topics, I want you to tell the audience a little bit about yourself and how you got started doing what you're doing. I know you're involved politically and you got a lot of other things going on. So why don't you tell them about that?
Yeah, man. So, I kind of came out of the political closet in 2016. I didn't really think that I was going to be such an outspoken person at the time. I was just, kind of tired of just seeing everyone speak their minds and, people listening to them, but no one really listening to people like me. So I just decided to throw my hat in the ring, just start making videos, just start speaking out. And because of that, I have made a lot of change. It starts locally, but for me, it's kind of starting with my family, and I made an impact with them and kind of woke them up. And then from there, it just kind of trickled throughout the community in my hometown. So that's a little bit of where I started there. And I'm still doing what I'm doing, so that's all we can do, really. Yep.
Yeah. Absolutely. Now, I know you're involved in a few different organizations, or maybe one organization. Is that correct?
Unofficially, I do try and do some outside work. I don't really like to attach myself to certain entities just because I don't really want what I say to reflect, those entities, and vice versa. I don't want what certain people say, whether I agree or disagree, to, be a reflection of who I am.
Right. Okay.
But I do work closely with a few, yes.
Cool. Now, were you always a conservative, or did you have a red pill moment?
So the thing is, I actually was born and raised conservative. I had conservative values all the way down the line. I just wasn't conscious of that at the time. I just, because I wasn't really into politics. I wasn't into watching, political news and what's going on with that. But it wasn't until, I believe it was the end of 2015. My aunt, actually, she was, God rest her soul, she was the one who actually planted the seed of Christianity in my heart. And
nice.
One time, she wasn't doing well health-wise, but I went to go visit her, and she was watching a rally. And Trump was obviously the speaker. And, I heard people saying this about Trump, that. For me, I didn't care. I just wanted to do me. And I was having a conversation with her, and she said, man, I just wish that they would leave this man alone. They haven't, he hasn't done nothing to them. It wasn't until he decided to run for president that they started slandering him. And I just turned and looked at the TV. I was like, well, she has a point. I'm listening to what he's saying. I don't see why people in the media are getting so upset by it, but it takes just tuning all that out and just plugging in for a little bit and just listening to the message. And once I heard that message, I just went and did my research, and I was like, holy crap, I got to get involved. I got to vote. I got to do stuff because it actually does matter, So faith was definitely a big component in this. My aunt, was just as big as a component. So
yeah,
here I am, plugged in.
Yes, sir. I gotta appreciate the people who, that weren't really politically engaged and just started, like, understood what was really going on in this country and really got activated, you did. And like I did too, because I was on the left when I started getting into politics. But
really?
Yeah. I had no political affiliation. I didn't care. I just voted for the people that I was told I was supposed to vote for because I'm Black, so I did that. But once I figured out what was really going on in the country and how the media was lying to everyone every single day, and that's when I got activated. Because I strongly believe that people like us are the only people who can really save this country. Like, we cannot rely on any of our politicians, and Trump was definitely a driving force. behind me becoming a patriot and becoming someone who believed that this country was worth saving, because before I just didn't care. You know, it was just, well, I live here, you know, this is my country, I guess, but whatever happens, happens. And, you know, especially like with people in the military, because I never understood why people would go and join the military to want to die for their country. Like I never understood that, but now I do. Like now I do. It's like, you know, this pride that I feel for just being American is overwhelming. Like you know, it brings a tear to my eye when I think about it. Like, you know, I'm so proud of this country, so proud to be a part of what we have going on. And, you know, we're just so much better than majority of the countries out there. Actually, I'll say all of them. We're better than all of them. We are the best country.
It's okay to hold that bias.
In this, yes, we are the best country in this world. And the reason that we are that way is because of our Constitution, because of the freedoms that we're afforded here. But we have a group of people that want to destroy that.
I agree.
In one way that because it's all about our foundation. It's about the ways that we, you know, grew up, the ways that we were taught were the best way to do things, like, you know, getting married, like waiting till you get married to have children, like
education comes first.
Right. Education comes, like this wokeism, all this stuff, like identity politics, all that, putting all that before looking at someone and judging someone by the content of their character. Now, people want to judge people because of their color of their skin. They want to judge people based on who they decide to be in a relationship with. So that's one of the things that I wanted to talk about today. So this is a conversation about this agenda that I believe, and I speak a lot about this on my Instagram page. If you guys aren't following the Right-Winged Angel, you need to. So go ahead and check that out. I post a lot about this agenda that I believe is being pushed on our children, and that's the gay agenda. A lot of what you see with these toddlers that are claiming that they're a different gender than the gender that they were born. We have this teacher that said that he was proud that a lot of his second grade boys were coming to him saying that they wanted to wear nail polish like he does. Like this type of stuff is like really infecting our children. And Pete has a pretty good perspective on this agenda, because Pete, I don't know if you guys know, Pete is a gay male. So yes, of course, we're going to put it out there because we got to talk about it. You know, it's just like me as a black male talking about my hate and disdain for Black Lives Matter, right? It's different when you have someone who's white talking about that. So I don't want to just go ahead and talk about this gay agenda without getting a gay male who actually doesn't like the agenda either. So, so Pete, why don't you tell the audience, like, how do you feel about this? Because I know you post about it a lot too. So tell us your perspective on this agenda that's going on.
For me, I personally, I mean, obviously I don't like it. I think it's unnecessary just because, you know, when I was growing up, and again, just those conservative values and just the way that you were raised, if we were to ever go to the movies, even if it was obviously it was straight couple back then, because it wasn't normalized the way it is today, but you know, we would go to the movies, and if there was like an explicit scene or something that, you know, the child isn't supposed to view, you know, your mom's like, wait, don't watch that. You know, they'll cover your eyes and stuff. And it's, you know, we kind of have gotten soft with the way that we're disciplining our children nowadays, and, you know, the way that we're conditioning them and just kind of handing them over to the technology and like the iPads and stuff, and just letting that kind of babysit your child. It is always cautious to be careful of what you're showing, you know, the kids, because, you know, growing up watching these different movies and stuff, I was just being a kid. But literally, when you go back and watch all these things, there's little hints of indoctrination in there, there's little hits of propaganda, little things here and there. And what you brought up right now, I actually just watched that video with the teacher, and I think it was the one where he was wearing like makeup, kind of bald, and like a bright colored green shirt and stuff like that.
That was another one. That was another one. So this is another one. There's a teacher, and he said that he likes to wear nail polish. So he's big on TikTok. So he always comes to school with these colorful nail polish, and he says that his students, they admired his nail polish. So he said like all of his second grade boys were coming to him and telling him about how they like to wear nail polish too. So it's like, you're kind of pushing this on the kids. They're not
Yeah,
making
you
their
are.
own decision to do this.
Yeah, and it is confusing for the kids because at the end of the day, the children don't know any better.
Mm-mm.
I wanted to grow up being a dinosaur. People want to be astronauts and all these
Yeah.
things at the time, but when you get older, it's like you can't. I mean, you can be the things that you want realistically, but you can't go out and be something that's non-human.
Right.
And same like gender, there's only two genders. I don't believe that you can be all these different things. You can say that you are, but biologically, you're only one of two things.
Right.
And my opinion on people like that who go into like, and it's big in education. Education
Mm-hmm.
it's for me, I thought it was education, but it's big time indoctrination, 100%. You can quickly make a comparison between the prison system and our education system and the way that their behaviors and treating like that. It's just, you're setting them up for everything but education.
Yeah.
With stuff like that, my opinion, you know being someone from, I don't really consider myself to be a member of the LGBT community anymore because it's not what I thought it was. Your
Mm-hmm.
sexuality is your privacy, and it does belong in your bedroom. Whatever you do or however you get down, that's your business.
Yeah.
That has no place in society. You
Yeah.
wearing different colored clothes or painting your fingernails and stuff, that's not, I personally don't find that beneficial for society as a whole, because when you
Mm-hmm.
go into society, you're doing everything to benefit society, not really yourself. So I remember back in the day, you couldn't have tattoos, you couldn't have piercings to work
Yep.
in different places. There was Hot Topic for that. You got to work at
Right.
Hot Topic. Now it's like they want to treat every place, even the most professional place, they want to treat it like a Hot Topic.
Yep.
And it is for me, I wouldn't prefer anyone going into an education type system or in a room to try and teach kids when you have makeup and stuff on, or
Mm-hmm.
fingernails. Now you do live in America, you do have that freedom to do so, unfortunately, even if people don't like it.
Right.
However, in the case when you're bringing it with children shouldn't really be learning about makeup, even, and this is even for straight people. Kids shouldn't be wearing makeup or anything, or even talking about that stuff at a young age at all. That's
Right.
for adults. So same thing flies with the LGBT rainbows who are trying to teach the kids about wearing nail polish and all this stuff. That video, the one that I just saw today, where he was like, let me talk to your kids, turn the phone to your kids.
Yeah. I saw that
I
one
don't
too.
know. Yeah, for me, it was completely unnecessary. Like, why do you need to show children something about you that is completely irrelevant to teaching them about proper education? No
Right.
one needs to go to school to learn about the teacher. They need to learn what the teacher's teaching them for the curriculum.
Right.
And that's just one thing on top of many. I can turn on the TV and watch any different show, and they'll highlight an LGBT couple, or they'll highlight some type of promiscuity, or just something that's out of the norm. Well, it's not really so much out of the norm anymore, but
Mm-hmm.
it's just being thrown in your face.
Right.
And I don't really care for PDA, whether it's a man and a woman, a man and a man, a woman and a woman. There's times and places for these things. It shouldn't be placed in public. But
Right.
in the sense where you are in public and you do feel brave enough to do these things, you should also be brave enough to know that people aren't going to agree with it and they're going to say something. So if you're big and bad enough to do these things, you need to be big and bad enough to, roll with the punches that comes with it, all the blowback and stuff like that. Don't,
Yeah.
oh, they're being homophobic, or they're being a bigot. Like, no, because at the end of the day, it's man and woman. We all fall short, but the
Mm-hmm.
thing is, not everyone has to glorify your imperfections. And the way the media and the Democrats and the left are pretty much cradling all these people, they're just saying, hey, we're your parents, it's okay, you can act this way, we support it, when the
Yeah.
rest of the country doesn't do that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree. It's kind of sad. And I don't know where this attitude comes from, where people believe that whatever they're doing, everyone should automatically embrace it. Because
Yeah,
that's what it
no.
seems like. Yeah, this is what I decide to do, and
Hmm.
everyone should embrace this. Everyone should be for what I'm doing. And that's not how society works. But
Nope.
if you say that you're against this thing, then you're deemed a transphobe or a homophobe or something
Yeah.
like that, and you're ostracized from society. Now, for you, I know you're, kind of against this whole movement that's going on. You said you're not a member of the LGBTQ community anymore. Now, do you think that things have become easier for you or become harder since this whole LGBT push started?
I would say, it's always been a little bit of a struggle, just because, you have that fear of, what are people going to say? They're going to hate me. They're going to disown me, all the things negative. But, fortunately, I was blessed, to have loved ones who love me for who I am, not the choices that I make in my life. They realize that I am a grown adult and, at the end of the day, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. But, it's funny because I was just telling my friend this the other day, since it's all over the place, it kind of gives you the feeling of like, oh, I can't wait till I turn 21 so I can drink and I don't have to show my ID anymore. But once you hit 21, you're like, damn, I miss showing people my ID. Like, it's not fun anymore, Right. Same thing. Like, I miss when you had to be discreet about something, or like you look at someone, you're like, whoa, is that person like this or not? I don't know. Yeah. Or like, let's go to the gay clubs where it's only the club that you can be like that and be free and stuff, and then go back into society like, okay, no one knows, it's my business.
Right.
And it kind of like it's ruined the fun of all that stuff, there's I can't go anywhere without seeing something that's like LGBT catering, or I can't watch any type of movie, even Halloween, Michael Myers. Like, I like Halloween. Yeah. They had a gay couple in there, which I'm like, I don't care, because it wasn't too much for me. But then people actually came out and said that Michael Myers was homophobic for killing them. But I was like, dude, if you saw the way he killed them, he actually killed them so elegantly and like placed them in a way of love. Like that's he actually catered and was soft to them, if you think about it.
Yeah.
And everyone just wants to feel heard about something. And it's like, just because it feels wrong doesn't mean it's wrong. Like, if your dad says, hey, you need to clean your room, who wants to clean their room as a kid, especially when you're going crazy, playing video games and making a mess everywhere? But it's the right thing to do, right. Or like, if you don't like your boss, but your boss has your best intentions and stuff, your best interest, it's okay, because, he gets on my nerves and stuff, but he's trying to make me a better me.
Right.
And just, we're soft, we're soft. We like to be catered to. We like people to tell us. Yeah. And another thing, it's like, how are you wanting to be equal when you're trying to do everything above and beyond to stand out from everybody else? Like women shave their heads, but they leave their underarm hair because they're lazy. It's like, dude, one thing or the other. Like, you shave that, keep this, right? And just, everything's backwards. Everything's backwards. It's annoying. It's concerning. It's alarming. But I'm one of the people who can say, I know that there's people out there who don't agree with my lifestyle, but I don't even bring my lifestyle up half the time when I'm talking to people, like right here, right now, by definition, homosexuality or whatever, attracted to the same sex. I'm not expressing homosexuality right now. Why should someone put me in that box and label me by my actions 24/7? So I have a different perspective when it comes to that. Like, a liar isn't lying literally all day, every day. A smoker isn't smoking all day, every day. Why are you going to call them a smoker? Same thing with someone who's gay. Why am I going to say, oh, hi, nice to meet you, I'm gay? And that's it. It's like, nah, like, I don't even care for you to learn something that I'm doing in my own private time. Like, this is my skills, my qualifications. This is what I'm about. This is what I'm bringing to the table. How can we work together?
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. And I think we should get back to, learning about each other, instead of trying to identify each other and put each other in these different categories.
I agree.
I think it's disgusting that we have come to this point in society where everyone has to be labeled. Everyone has to be, we have this whole victimhood Olympics that you see. We have to categorize all the different victims. And I would say right now that the LGBT community kind of sits on top of that. They have overtaken the Black people, in my opinion, because I think that a lot of times they, like, for instance, the whole Dave Chappelle situation, that tells you right there where Black people fit in the hierarchy of victimhood. So
I watched.
Did you watch that special?
I did, and it was crazy.
Were you offended?
It was really insane. I was I was only offended that my stomach hurt from laughing so hard. That's pretty much it. Because like I didn't find nothing offensive about that entire special. If anything,
Yeah.
You're speaking truth.
Yeah.
And more so you're speaking truth to power, but you're not even demeaning anybody in this transgender community.
Right.
You're just, bringing light to certain things here. And, you can laugh about it, but it's like, you're right. They are getting more recognition, more fast paced than someone in the Black community is, unless they're not like a pop star or a basketball player or someone in that perspective. But I thought he did a good job. I thought he was very sentimental, whenever he brought up his friend and stuff, and people still just hated the jokes. I'm like, dude, they're jokes.
Yep, they're jokes. Yep. They're supposed to be offensive. They're supposed to spark a little bit of outrage. They're supposed to make you a little bit uncomfortable inside.
Yeah.
But that's
no
what
one's off
comedians
limits
do.
with jokes.
Right.
Like especially comedians, there's nobody off limits.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what we used to do. That's what comedy used to be about. I'm a big fan of comedy, but it's unfortunate. Comedy is dead because everyone just wants to get offended. You can't say this. You can't say that. So we have a lot of comedians that are probably not even performing because they don't know what to say. It's like as soon as they say something a little off-putting, they get canceled. So that's just the way that our society has been, and it's just disgusting. But now I know, for me being a Black conservative, I get attacked by Black people because I'm not supposed to be conservative. Now for you, being a gay male, do you get attacked for being a conservative gay male?
You should see my inbox messages, man. All day, every day. Literally, people come out of the woodworks and just say, oh, Pete used to be cute and smart before he was bald. Now he's just crazy. And I'm like,
so it was the bald thing? Because I'm bald too. So I'm offended by that comment.
Bald is better, like it's less hassle.
Yeah.
The only thing you got to worry about is missing a little patch. That's it.
Right. Yeah. You just get in the mirror. You got that two mirror with the mirror in the back.
I feel But I do have a lot of people who, fortunately I've been more surrounded by positivity, and people who are like-minded. But when I first came out, man, it's harder to come out of the closet with your political views than it is to come out with your own sexuality.
Dude, I said the same thing.
It lets you know that things are just backwards. But people just want to assume that I'm a cult member because I have a red MAGA hat on, or that just because I support America and call myself a patriot, I agree with everything that Republicans do and say, or everything that Trump says and does. It's like, no, but I recognize the importance of what Trump has been doing and trying to do, trying to just give me, more freedom to live the life that I want to live, pursue my own happiness. It's not guaranteed, but it is a pursuit, and a lot of people automatically think, oh, I have to be happy or I have to get everything I want. Like, no, but there's beauty in struggling and making something of yourself that stands out from everybody else who can't really, make it.
Right. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I'm definitely not for the majority of the Republicans that we have in office right now. I will call them out any chance I get.
Yeah.
I think we need a host of all new Republican candidates. We keep a few of them. But a lot of them, they're just career politicians, just like the Democrats. They're only in it for themselves. They don't have the America First mentality that Trump did. And we can't win with them. We can't win with them. It's
we're winning at a losing game.
Right. And it's like, I think we're changing a lot of minds. I don't know, because I see this in the Black community. I don't know if you see this, because you're Hispanic also. So I don't know if you see this in your different communities, that people are starting to wake up. Are you seeing that?
Everywhere. A lot of people, because I have a lot of friends who are all the way across the aisle, all colors, all creeds, all backgrounds, but, and liberals, Democrats, ones that just love to fight with me at the end of the night, or just like go to a bar where I'm at just to pick a fight on a topic that's completely irrelevant to them.
Right.
But they're realizing like, dang, why is my gas so expensive?
Yeah.
Dang, why aren't they hiring me at this job when I applied 10 times? Dang. Why is everything going to crap pretty much? And it's like, well, at least you don't have a mean tweet anymore. At least there's not a big bad guy on the media.
That's what you wanted. That's all you wanted, to get rid of the mean tweets.
Yeah.
now you got all this bull crap.
Yeah, dude, it's everywhere. But, I feel like, where I am in my faith, how I've always been rooted in, God has his hand in everything at all times, always.
Mm-hmm.
This is just part of that plan. This is part of God's plan with helping waking people up, shaking their spirit, letting them know that there is something bigger going on
Yeah.
besides battling red and blue within America. This is a whole global problem that we're all facing, but there's so many distractions everywhere. You have to kind of stay on the low and focus on the small issues, focus on the
Yeah.
little distractions. But, people are, in their own time, they're waking up. I've noticed that, I also have noticed that people are purposely sleeping. They're willing to sleep all this stuff off, and that hating Trump and arguing with Republicans was just a trend to do because the media helped manufacture all that.
Yeah. And
Now
it's
that
comfortable
Biden's
too.
here, exactly. Yeah. Now that Biden's here, all these people who used to attack me with stuff on my friends, they don't care anymore. They don't
Right.
ask me what I think. They don't ask me why this and that. They've gone back to their lives, and their lives honestly aren't it's not filled with much beyond going to the bars,
Right.
drinking, partying, doing the same old stuff that, low vibrational people do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I see that a lot as well. People waking up. My friends that stopped dealing with me because I voted for Trump, they still don't deal with me because a lot of people can't admit when they're wrong. Like that's the biggest
Yeah.
thing about
Yeah.
liberals. They cannot admit when they're wrong. Looking at this whole Kyle Rittenhouse case,
Man,
when
it's
when when
crazy.
it first came out, like I looked at the evidence, I looked at the video, and I made my conclusion from the beginning that this
Hmm.
was definitely self-defense. There
Yeah.
was there was no way that I thought anyone can see otherwise, but we have these prosecutors and these district attorneys that are out for blood, and they just want
They're
to
just politicizing
bring
everything.
right. They want to politicize it. They want to bring charges against anyone who doesn't support their narrative, doesn't support the people that they support. So that's why they charged him.
Yeah.
But the media, they ran this smear campaign, and also the
Yeah, they did.
politicians too. Joe Biden, man, ran this smear campaign against this who was a teenager at the time, calling
Yeah.
him a white supremacist, and said he was out there murdering people for no reason, which was 100% untrue.
Yeah, it
And you
was
had a
untrue.
lot of people, yeah, on the left who kind of fell for that. They just, you know, just went along with it just because it was something to do. But they went along with it. They said the same things that the media was saying. They echoed the same sentiments about Kyle Rittenhouse. And now that we have the trial, it's coming out. It's clearly self-defense.
Yeah,
Like
it
it's
is.
clearly like there's no way around it, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. This is clearly self-defense. But we
Yeah.
still have a lot of people that are saying he murdered people. He carried a gun
Yeah.
across state lines, which he didn't do. So they're still
Yeah.
parroting the talking points of the media, even though the
Yeah.
trial we have the trial. So if you really want to
Yeah.
know what happened, all you have to do is watch the trial.
Watch the
But
trial. Yes.
people refuse to admit when they're wrong. So they
Yeah.
won't watch the trial on purpose just so they can stick
Yeah.
with that narrative, because if they absorb the information, if they get the truth, then they would be forced to admit, oh, I was wrong. So they'll just ignore
Yeah.
everything so they can still stick with that narrative.
And there is some beauty with all this because there are a few people who are on the left who are,
That is true.
in the spotlight and stuff, and they're realizing, dang, I thought these were black people. They're white
Yep.
people. Dang,
Did you
the
see that
media made it.
tweet?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did. And I saw the tweet, and then I saw that woman who used to be, I'm not sure if she still is, but she's on the Young Turks.
Yeah.
And
Annika
she was
Sperry.
like, she's like,
Yep.
I had to apologize. I was completely wrong. The media gave me
Yep.
this impression that it was, they were black people. I'm like, dude. But even for me, even if they were black people, like, you got to look at what was going on, look at the
Yeah.
context of
Was
everything,
it
and
self-defense or not? Their race shouldn't matter.
yeah, exactly. Race shouldn't matter. Yeah, the law is what upholds everything. And for me, that's another thing with that. I don't want to get too much on the Kyle Rittenhouse stuff because it is fresh, but
Mm-hmm.
there are some people who's like, oh well, he crossed state lines. What was he doing over cross state lines? Well, what about all these protesters? Where do they come from? Are they all local, or
What were
did they
they
cross
doing?
state lines too? Exactly. And why
Yeah.
are we dismissing all these people who were not peacefully protesting, which is against the First Amendment, which isn't even in your First Amendment because it has to be peaceful?
Yeah.
Why are we giving all these people a pass and focusing on this one kid? It's
Yeah.
it's it's
It's
backwards.
political. Yeah, it's
It's
all
political.
political. Look, yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
even the judge was trying to call it out. Like it's
Yeah.
definitely this is a political exercise, and they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
This whole case is just bunk. It's bogus,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they know
It already
exactly
blew
what's
up the
going
other
on.
day when I forgot what the guy's name was, but he pretty much was just like, yeah, that is correct. I did shoot, or I did.
Yep.
He pretty much
Oh,
admitted
you
that he
pointed a
he
gun
did
at
it.
him. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And it's wild stuff to see, man. But for me, it's like, God has a sense of humor. So he's
Hmm.
gonna, give us a little laugh along the way. He's gonna show us the silliness, while he's giving us the correct justice and the righteousness that we're all needing to be aware of, but kind of everywhere else.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. And I believe that as well. I just hope we get more laughs than crying.
Yeah.
because because a lot of the stuff that I see, it just brings a tear to my eye. It leaves me
Yeah.
with so much frustration because I just want to get to the point where everything starts to make sense again.
Yeah.
You know, when
I
when
agree,
when you
man.
were when you were a teenager and you kind of just had your routine and things kind of made sense for a while, and
Yep.
then you became an adult and they still made sense, but they started getting a little hairier. And then once you
Yeah.
so the thing, like once you take that red pill, then everything is just it just turned upside down. Like you have
Yeah.
that great feeling of, yeah, I know what's going on now. Like,
Yeah.
this is what's happening. But
Yeah.
watching other people navigate within this, the matrix, like the movie, that's what it feels
Yeah.
like. Everybody's
Yeah.
navigating within the matrix, and we're not. We're on the outside looking in. It just
Yeah.
doesn't make sense what these people do. But I mean, we just gotta, it's like watching a movie. Sometimes you just gotta watch it
Yeah.
and sit on the sideline and just have your questions,
Got to
but
just watch it
no
all
one's there to
unfold.
answer them. Yep, yep,
Yeah. I
yep. But it's cool.
I was gonna say, because I saw, uh, I cringe, with when I look at Snapchat and they're always like throwing all this inappropriate LGBT stuff, or when
Mm-hmm.
I see the headlines with what's that dude's name, Rachel or whatever, where the first openly transgender 4-star
Oh,
general,
oh, oh, yeah, Rachel something. I can't remember the
whatever.
name.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
but for me, like stuff like that, I'm like, this is a shit show.
Yeah.
You're literally going to acknowledge this man who doesn't even look like a woman, puts on light makeup and calls themselves Rachel. I'll call you
Yep.
Rachel. I'm not going to call you a woman, because you're not, to me, if you're a true transgender, and this is just from my perspective, you're going to do
Mm-hmm.
everything you can to completely change who you are to be the sex that you are. Shave
Yeah.
this down, get these, fixed, make all the alterations you need. You can't just put on a hair, was it a wig and makeup and say, oh,
Yep.
I'm so and so, because then you're going to start looking like that a video. And this was so hilarious where I think it was the transgender at Sonic. Did you see that video? There was a
Sonic.
Sonic manager. Yeah, there was a Sonic manager, and I guess
Oh yeah, yeah,
they
yeah. They
misgendered
went
him
to the
because his
car.
debit
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I
his
saw
debit
that.
card still says his guy name.
Right.
And he tried to prove a point, and he's like, do I look like or what do I look like? What would you think I am? He's like, you look like a man.
Right.
And so he turns the camera around, and I like, dude, you're a dude, you're a bro, like, and it just, it's kind of like a crutch. Like if I'm wearing a wig and makeup, that means I can equal the opposite gender. And it's like you're
Yeah.
getting lazier and lazier and lazier
Yep.
with, something that is so true to you. Like there's not
Right.
really much effort in becoming a transgender. I could throw on a wig right now and say I'm Patricia and
Right.
call it a day.
Right.
But what we're trying to focus on is, these aren't priorities.
Mm-hmm.
People are like, oh, we got to fight for gay rights. For me, I don't need gay rights because I have American rights, which trump every single right. Like
Yeah.
the Constitution isn't saying I can't be straight or gay. It's saying, I have the freedom of, speech, freedom to protect myself, freedom for all these different things, but it doesn't classify you by your sexual affiliation.
Right. So when they say fighting for gay rights, what are they talking about? What rights don't gay people have in this country?
You see, and for me, I guess shame on me because a lot of people expect me to know my LGBT history from like, Harvey Milk and the Stonewall riots and all this stuff. I really
Mm-hmm.
don't, because that was before my time and that didn't really impact my life in any way. You know,
Yeah, that's
I was
fine.
never,
Yeah,
yeah,
you
I
don't
was
have to
never
do that.
treated any different way, you know, because I didn't make that a focal point. I didn't make that like a priority to tell people who I was. Even if you could tell, like, by my energy or my mannerisms or my tone of voice at the time, if you can tell, that's cool, you know.
Hmm.
But, you know, I just, for me, gay rights, scratch gay rights. It's just rights. We all have rights already. You know, we're all
Right.
equal. The Constitution says we're all equal. Do we treat each other that way? No, but everyone tries to be better than the other person. Even when you're trying to be humble, you always want to make sure you're doing the best you can. Some
Yeah.
people don't, you know, so it's not like it's a competition, but you know, when people say that they're you know, gay rights, it's like, dude, I don't need that. I don't need people talking to me about gay rights, or, you know, can someone explain what gay rights are? Oh, well, we want to get married. Okay, well then get married. You know,
Yeah.
oh, well, the government says that we can't. Okay, then do you need the government's approval to show your love for someone? Do you need,
Right.
you know, back in the old times where they go into the government saying, hey, you know, I want to get married with, you know, with this person. Can you give me a piece of paper so we can go show God? Like, none of that stuff ever happened. Why do we feel
Right.
like government giving you a piece of paper or even acknowledging you is going to justify or prove how much you love your significant other?
Yeah.
You know, that's one thing of many. You know, I did see how, you know, and I actually had to ask my friend this. I was like, hey, you know, what were some of the things that they fought for as far as trying to get true gay rights, you know, in the past? Because I know that gay people just really wanted to do the same things that other people did, you know, have a family, you know, get a good job, make something of themselves. To me,
Hmm.
we're all doing that. You know, we're
Right.
all doing that stuff now, but people want that extra attention. They
Yeah.
want to feel like they're being left out. It's like that pity party. Oh, look at me. It's like, that's bogus stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So
For me, it's like what comes after equality? Like once you gain equality and you're
yeah,
still fighting, then it seems
yeah.
like you're just trying to gain supremacy.
Because
That's
these
what it
people
seems
don't
like.
even realize they have more equality than the heterosexual people do,
I
you know,
know.
or the breeders or whatever they want to call them. It's like,
Yep.
y'all have so much more
Is that
TV
a
shows, y'all
word?
have so much more. I
Do they
kind of
use that
just made
word,
it up. I
breeders?
just
Oh,
said it right
okay.
now. I mean, I guess we can roll with it. But you know, they don't even see that. It's like, how selfish are you going to be? You know, y'all had, well, I actually liked the Logo channel way back when, where there was like a gay channel for just all gay shows, gay drag shows,
Oh,
gay commercials, all
I
that.
didn't
Like,
know anything about that. I guess
yeah,
there's a
it was
reason for
actually,
it.
it was exclusive because it's kind of
Oh,
like someone
really?
who has BET. It's like, oh, we have our own network. You
Oh,
have your own
okay.
network for all your own shows whenever. It's
Hmm.
kind of like Univision. We have our
Yeah.
own Spanish TV channel for all the Spanish shows.
Yeah.
They had that, and then they just you know, dismissed it. They spread it throughout everywhere. But you know, it's, you have your own music videos. Y'all have, you know, y'all are up there right now, and that's still
Hmm.
not enough. Y'all still want
Yep.
to complain about more things. It's like y'all are never going to be happy because happiness comes from within, and you
Yeah.
kind of don't even know who the hell you are. You think you're a
Right.
woman or a man or some other gender. You're calling yourself a non-binary, cis, whatever the hell all that stuff is. You don't even know who you are. So of course you're not going to be happy.
Right.
You know, and for me, it's like you got to be grounded in reality. You know, I can do all these things to stand out and be different, but am I trying to be different to where I stand out too much, or am I trying to, you know, fit in with everybody else according to society standards, you know?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's, you don't have to conform to society standards. We live in a
Yeah,
free country and you can do what you want, but that doesn't mean that everyone should accept everything
yeah,
that
no.
you choose to do with your
Hmm.
life. Like if somebody I know decided they wanted to be a woman, okay, cool. That's on you to do it, but you
Yeah,
don't expect me to praise you for it. Don't
exactly.
expect me to
Yeah,
call you a hero. Don't expect me
yeah.
to
Or a
think you should.
shiro.
Right, Shiro, yeah, whatever. So don't expect me to believe that. Oh well, now you should go be able to compete in women's sports. Like, no, I'm not going to be okay
And
with that. So yeah,
I'm
so
all
don't.
for opening up a transgender section for the Olympics
I
and have all the
said the
transgender
same
females or all the
thing.
transgender males,
Yes,
but you
I
shouldn't
said the
be.
same thing.
Yeah, no, you shouldn't be dipping into that. You don't see tennis players lining up on the track to race track people and compete. Like, no,
Right,
you have your lane, stay in your lane.
right,
Transgender people too. Like I said, some of them wait till they're fully developed. Like in this case, men wait till they're fully developed, you know, all their testosterone and everything, and then they just decide that they're gonna switch over and just start competing in women's sports.
yep,
You know, if we're gonna be so inclusive, why haven't we opened that up already? We need a transgender section for, Olympics and certain things like that.
But I feel like they
And
don't
if
want that.
anything, they don't want that. No,
No,
they
they
want
don't. They
to
don't
they
want
want
that.
to insert their dominance and push
Exactly.
themselves and
Yep.
push that line and keep pushing it. Like, no, you're gonna accept us. We're here whether you like it or not. It's like,
Yep.
we don't like it because you're
Right.
you're overreaching. You're in everyone's
Overreaching.
face. Yeah, and for me, like, some people don't like me for that, but I don't care. Like, I'm always going to be true to myself. If I see something, I say something. If I don't like it, or if it's tacky, I'm going to say that's tacky.
Yeah.
And because there's, like, for me, a lot of people in the gay, I guess you could say, conservative movement and stuff too.
Mhm.
Like, for example, Caitlyn Jenner in California, people were going batshit crazy over her. Oh, Caitlyn Jenner's going to run this and that. Caitlyn is what we need. I'm like, I mean,
Yeah.
you're kind of right, because California is very sinful and very satanic and hellish. It's like, y'all kind of deserve Caitlyn Jenner.
Yeah.
But, God can favor you and give you someone better. But if you deserve that, then, I mean, there's your representation. And a lot of people don't even realize that Caitlyn Jenner, for me, I don't even know if Caitlyn even cut off everything and is a full she.
No, I don't think so.
Right? That's
I
why
think
I'm
she
like,
still
dude,
has her male parts.
yeah. And you can call me, I don't know about transgenderism or, gender dysphoria and all that stuff. I'm not saying that I am, but in my perspective, you're not really fully who you say you are if you're not going all the way. Even if you have a little thing that doesn't work or whatever, like, you still have it. It's not going away. You're not trying to get rid of it. So you're kind of complacent with having a partial he part still. But the whole Caitlyn Jenner thing all this transgender stuff didn't even pop up until the Obamas got into the White House.
I know, right?
And I have my little thoughts and speculations on that. We don't have to talk about it.
No,
but,
yes, we can talk about it. Go
we
ahead,
can talk
Pete. Talk about
too.
it.
Yeah. So look, conspiracy theorists are just people who are ahead of the game. They're the spoiler alerts that you want to stay away from unless you want to see what's happening before it happens.
Right.
I learned really easily, and people say I'm being disrespectful or whatever. I don't care what you call me. That's your opinion. Doesn't affect me none. I think Michelle Obama is a man. And if you've seen the Trump card, you'll see those testimonies of all those homosexual men who messed around with Obama when he was senator.
Yeah.
And he was just, pretty much they're just being sloppy. And then Joan Rivers being a close friend of them, saying that on TMZ, that Michelle was a tranny and that we already have the gay president and all that stuff's okay. But look at what's happened. Look, all these transgenders just popped up out of nowhere. I'm like, this wasn't a thing, like, in the 80s or before that. Like, it just happened to be now, And with Caitlyn Jenner too, I know I'm kind of all over the place with it. A lot of people failed to realize that Caitlyn was still Bruce. Bruce got into a car accident and ended up killing someone, and then instantly converted to Caitlyn. And then Caitlyn took the spotlight, and everyone just forgot about Bruce Jenner killing a woman or killing an old person.
I didn't even know that. I did not know that. Wow.
Yeah, a lot of people are talking about that, and and a lot of people don't talk about that. But it's like, it's almost like it's a trend to be a trans, or it's a trend to be a non-binary, or it's a trend to be
it's a trend,
cis,
right?
or whatever. Yeah, and I don't fall for those kinds of trends. It's the equivalent to eating a Tide Pod. Like, there's no benefit to your insides by injecting your body with the opposite things that you're needing.
Right.
And so, like, for me, like, I know that people, I think there was like a study and stuff where people were saying, if you do have let's say, because back in the day, the girls who I thought were, boyish, they were just called tomboys.
Exactly.
They didn't have no, I'm this, or I'm this, or I'm that, or you could, maybe they did like girls, maybe they didn't, but you just called them a tomboy.
Yeah, and they still ended up dating men.
Yeah. They outgrow it and stuff. Some of them kind of did stay there, but but that's on them. And I kind of forgot where I was going with that part, because I was all over the place.
No, you're saying that the girls, they were just tomboys. They weren't like cis,
everyone
non-binary, like, and stuff like that.
None of that happened. Like, none of that popped up until it's like, who decided to push this in the media and who decided to influence people the way that they did? Nobody really has these types of pulls.
Democrats, of course.
Yeah. They always say that they're for the minority and stuff, but it's like, they're for using the minority. All an agenda,
right? They're for using.
Yeah, they're just minority. For using. Yeah.
All right. That's why people call it an agenda, because I think it's a push by Democrats, because they know that there's a certain group of people that vote for Democrats, and they will always vote Democrats
They will
in
vote
large
Democrat till they
numbers.
die.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And that's black people. So that's why they got the push for Black Lives Matter. And the LGBTQ community, they're
Yeah.
strong Democrat voters. Women are strong Democrat voters, especially
Yeah.
minority women are strong Democrat voters. So a
Yeah.
lot of this stuff is just used to get more Democrat votes. So if you
Yeah.
can take, for instance, like we have the whole push with the trans kids and stuff like that. Like you're starting kids off at an early age and getting them to fit into one of these Democrat
Yeah.
voter categories, right?
Yeah.
So if they would grow up normal kids, not worrying about all this gender non-binary stuff or transgender stuff, then they would
Yeah.
probably grow up and eventually turn into a Republican or start voting conservative
Yeah.
once they get older. But if you can get them at a young age and get them to fit in one of those Democrat voter categories, then you'll probably have a
Yeah.
Democrat voter for life.
Yeah, man. And it's like, the reach is hard because when I was younger, watching Nickelodeon, there was nothing, there was nothing
None of
there that
that.
was,
You have
LGBT
drag queen
representation.
story time.
Yeah, man. I was beside myself when I saw that Arthur, Mr. Ratburn,
Oh yeah.
was a
Yeah.
homo the whole time. I was like,
Yeah.
bruh, Mr. Ratburn? Okay. That was one thing. And then what else was it? I saw that they did like I think it was Blue's Clues or something, and they had like the
Yeah.
drag queen and the BLM
Yep.
microphone, and they had the bears and the beavers, which those are like gay terms. Like if you're a bear, you're like a kind of like a chunky, kind of hairy person. They
Mm-hmm.
had an actual bear on those floats, and then beavers are kind of like the skinnier type hairy version. They
Yeah.
had those too. They had scars, like where their mastectomies and all
Right.
that
I
stuff was.
saw
I'm
that.
like,
Yep.
gosh, who is responsible for this? Like, why are they doing this? What is their, accomplishment? And for me, the only assumption that I can think of is, in a sense, population control by stopping all the stopping the
Mm-hmm.
procreation process.
Yeah, that's part
You
of it
know,
too. That's part of it too.
and because
Population control.
100%,
Because they're
and I'm
pushing
not.
abortions too. Think about all that. Talk about all the stuff that they push. It's population
Yeah,
control. I
yeah,
always
and
say
then they're
like
saying that.
no, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, I was just saying real quick. I always say that Republicans, they're the ones that want to enhance the economy by creating jobs, by creating
Yeah,
more opportunities.
yeah,
Democrats want to enhance it by making less people, making sure there's less
yeah,
people in the United States,
yeah. It's crazy stuff. It's crazy,
Yeah.
crazy stuff. But you can always, for me, I pick up on people's vibes. I pick up on people's energies and stuff, or whatever you want to call it, frequency, all, that lingo. Like you can tell a negative person when you come around, come around certain people, you're like, ugh, I don't really want to
Yeah.
be around them. I just got a bad vibe around them. Or
Right.
there's like, oh man, that person was so bubbly, like they're fun, they're energetic. Like there's nothing that Democrats, express. Like they don't express nothing like that. It's all cringe, it's
Mm-hmm.
all dark, it's all
Yep.
divisive, and it's all lazy. You're just blaming the opposite party.
Right.
This party is actually, they'll blame people when it's appropriate, but they're actually trying to get together and try and make actual change. It's kind of late, in the game, but they're still trying.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it comes down to us Americans. It comes down to us patriots who realize that both parties are flawed. Both parties
Yep.
are only going to look out for their own interest, as we are. I look out for my own interest versus
Mm-hmm.
others, depending on the situation. But in this case, the only thing that I might not it's not an issue at all. But for example, the hardcore conservative, the hardcore, Republicans who say everything gay or anti-gay, this and this and that, I get it. But
Mm-hmm.
what about the people like me who don't really care to identify with my sexuality, who is here saying, stop thinking about that. Like, that's not even a factor in my life because of all the
Yeah.
stuff I'm worrying about. Like, why
Right.
can't we come together, ally, and do something together to help this country? I'm not
Right.
asking for your acceptance. I'm asking for you to allow me to fight side by side with you
Yeah.
in this same fight, because we're all going through it, but it's part
Right.
of a divisive tactic. No one is perfect. We all fall short from the glory of God. There was only one perfect person, that was Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody who's saying, oh, this is disgusting or this is abomination and stuff, it's like, you're right, but that the actions, everyone's not even acting on these things half the time. These people are just here to make business. They're not here to represent their sexuality. they're here to get stuff done for the country.
Right.
And there's a big kind of rift with that, because I saw that, you know, there was the Mar-a-Lago event that just happened this past weekend, and it was the gala award for I forgot what it was called, but Melania Trump was there. Trump was there, Rick Grenell, and a whole bunch of the Republican or the log cabin Republicans.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of people are posting about it and talking bad about it, saying that, you know, Trump and Melania are doing this with gay people. But at the end of the day, they were there to present an award to Melania.
Right.
You know, Melania wasn't there, you know, necessarily for them. It's like we were there to give this to her, saying, thank you for, you know, what you're doing and what you've done. Just pretty much allowing us to have a better life for ourselves. We're not saying you approve of our lifestyle or anything, but at the same time, they don't care. You know, they don't care about what you do or how you're doing it. They just care that you're in line with loving the country and that you're assimilated in that sense that, you know, we're looking out for each other.
Right.
And there's a whole bunch of other things that are just, you know, they're just divisive tactics for me. You know, I don't really like how religion is used as a divisive tactic, gay or straight, black or white, Christianity, Muslim, all these things. Like, it's all just divisiveness. Like, at the end of the day, you know, my faith, I know where I am. I know, you know, who my Lord and Savior is. I know my Creator. We're all going to bow down to the same God one day, you know? So it's like, we need to acknowledge that. And we also need to acknowledge that not everybody is going to get into heaven. Not everyone's meant to, but you can't ostracize or push the ones who, you know, recognize that and, you know, are humble enough to express those things. You know, I don't want someone to condemn me because of my imperfections, which I don't even, you know, I know I'm not perfect, but, you know, people are probably thinking, oh, this guy's gay. He's probably just this with men. Like, right here, right now, I'm not doing nothing. I'm just having a great conversation with the man. Right. You know, we're just two brothers having a conversation.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it should be in society, you know, and it's just, you know, we're Republicans are just as sensitive, you know, as Democrats, depending on the topic, you know, and we just need to all just step back and realize, like, there are different people here. There's Muslims for Trump. There are Christians for Trump. There's gangsters
Jews
for Trump.
Right.
Yeah. There's porn stars who are, you know, pro-patriotic because they realize that their freedom to them is important. I'm not saying to support a porn star, but if a porn star wants to, you know, ignore her porn star title for a little bit and do something good for the country, like, have at it. You also got to remember,
let's not recognize her as that. Let's recognize her as someone.
Yeah, but who is recognizing this person? Like, for example, there was someone, I think, who went to CPAC who was a porn star or whatever, and they kicked her out. But it's like, who labeled her as a porn star and who gave her that much clout to push her up there only as a porn star, not a woman, as she's supposed to be recognized?
Yep.
You know, it's like, you're not looking at Pete. You're like, oh, this gay man. It's like, who said anything about being gay or gay anything? Like, why can't it just be Pete for Pete? Why can't it be this woman? Because everyone has a private, you know, their private life. Everyone is imperfect. Everyone does things that they know are wrong or that they can, you know, do better at. You know, no one's perfect. But when we start attacking other people, especially when we're trying to all get something accomplished here, I don't think anyone wins when we're doing that, you know?
Right. Yeah. And Pete and I have been cool for over a year now. And
it's true.
Yeah, we've met in person a couple of times. So,
yeah,
you know, I definitely see Pete as a brother. And we don't talk about the whole gay thing. The only reason that I brought up the whole gay thing is so we can have a conversation about the agenda. And he gives a better perspective, being that, you know, he's a gay male. So that's the only reason to bring that up. And I think it's important to have different perspectives, especially on the conservative side, because the left will be quick to tell us that we're nothing but white males on the conservative side.
We're supremacists.
Right. We're white supremacists. We don't know anything about these other communities. We don't support these other communities. We don't support minorities. We don't support the LGBTQ. We don't support whoever. And the fact of the matter is, there are conservatives in all different shapes and sizes, colors, sexual orientations. They're all over the place. So we are all fighting for the same cause. We're fighting to save this country from these crazy leftists, right? And it's not that we're fighting to save the country from the LGBT community. We're not fighting to save the country from trans people or women or anything. We're fighting to save the country from the people who want to destroy it. So whoever those people are, those are the people who we are against. We're not against anyone based on any type of identity. So just wanted to let that be clear.
That was good, man. I liked it.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, man. So I guess we'll close out here. Why don't you, give your closing words and tell the people where they can find you.
Yeah, so I just want to, say thank you for allowing me to come onto your show, and give me a platform for, your audience to hear what I have to say. It's not easy, to, go to a space where you're able to talk freely and just express yourself without the fear of retaliation. So I definitely, appreciate you for giving me that opportunity. If anyone wants to find my social media, I am on YouTube. I have not posted in a while just because there's so much going on, but I do have a few things in the works. Pete Gomez the third is, how you can find me on YouTube, or I to make it easier. And on Instagram, my social media is the third Pete Gomez 2.0. You do spell it out THIRD. So the third Pete Gomez 2.0, and you'll be able to find me there.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming on. I think this was a great conversation. We got into a lot of great topics, and I think we may have made some headway with some people who may disagree, based on the things that were said. I think we made a lot of sense. But I think this was a very good conversation. So thank you so much for being here. Guys, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It's very important. Let me say like again. It's very, very important that you like this video, because that will help spread this video around. And I think more and more people need to hear this conversation. It's definitely important. So make sure you like this video, share this video with your friends and family. And you can find me on Instagram at The Right Winged Angel. You can find me on Twitter at Oliver Mack, RWA. And you can find me all over the place. I also have a website, www.rightwingedangel.com. Go there, get my merch. See this cool section that I have. It's called the Red Wing Pharmacy, where you can go and look up a lot of different topics about the fake news and the things that the media has lied about. And you can share that with your lefty family and friends so they know the real story. That's very important. So, yeah, definitely check that out. And, thanks, Pete, again. And we will see you next time. Peace out.
Peace out, man.